be an orange pumpkin with a green and brown stem. And we're gonna do our pumpkin first, and then we're gonna do our background. Now this is an oldie but a goodie. We did this a couple years ago with a black background, but I'm gonna paint my pumpkin first, and then y'all are gonna help me decide what color background. We can do it black again, or we can do it blue. Oh, so OCD, Georgia, so bad. We'll decide after we paint. Judy, if you can't find your email, email Sherry at info@artshattered.com, and she will get you taken care of, okay? So here is our tracer, and I'm literally tucking it all the way down and all the way to the left because we want it just sticking off of the canvas. Now this is hang on, I'm gonna write what we got down. This is the same size as our Christmas trees. So it's a 4x12. So if you went and bought a bunch of 4x12s, just go grab you one. And now I'm gonna get some tape to tape my tracer down, all right? The tracer is available to Shattered Circle members only. That is one of the benefits of being a Shattered Circle member, is that we don't provide tracers to anyone outside of the group. So we'd love to give those tracers to you. Just come join our group next week when the doors are open. And then you get all the tracers for all the things, right? All the things. So let's go ahead and trace this on. Also, we're gonna like extend our stem. I just kind of left it at a little bit of a point till we do the background, and then we're gonna like make it crazy. So let's tuck this in all the way to the edge. And, oh, we got to come down some. And we're going to trace on. Let's start with our stem, and I need something for my hand. Yeah, if you join, you get all the things we've done in the past. The only thing that you don't have access to is any challenge we have done in the past, because those get archived. But if you join the Shattered Circle, you get immediate access to everything in the Shattered Circle membership, with the exception of our vault. And if you join for the whole year, you get the vault as well. So you get all the tracers and supply lists for anything we do right here on this page, as well as all of the fun stuff we do all month long in our membership. All right. And we're going to talk about that in great detail next week. All right, so I'm going to follow, and we're going to follow, boom, and follow all our little sections, little baby pieces. Now let's take a pic before we move our tape. Let's take a pic and see. Yes, everything is there. So let's take this off. Let's get rid of this. Put this where it belongs. I spent a good bit of the day today cleaning my paint area because, y'all, it was a crazy mess up in here. So I had to take a little bit of time, and I had to take a little time and clean up. So I'm going to try to maintain that cleanliness for at least a week, right? Or at least a week. So, tracer, set aside. It's called a stylus. Kelly, let me show it to you again. It's called a stylus, S-T-Y-L-U-S, and it is literally a pen with no ink. It has a little nub on one end and a little bit of a bigger nub on the other, and it's great for tracing. All right, let's get started. Plate. Napkin, paintbrushes, paints, We are going with, oh my gosh, y'all. My area is always a hot mess. And my water is always dirty. I can't even show you the 3 bottles of water or the 3 jars of water on my desk that have tons and tons of paintbrushes that are in dirty water. Okay, orange pumpkin. We're going to use 3 different colors of orangey, reddy, yellowy, okay? So first color, our main color is going to be burnt orange. Is that upside down? No, it's right. You can see the whole thing. I'm gonna work on this part first. So I want to make sure everybody can see this. When I do this part, I'll pull it down, okay? So we're working here. All right, so burnt orange, heritage brick, which is kind of a rusty red. Let me put this on here. Yeah, comment the word trees if you want me to send you a link to the Christmas tree challenge, and that way you can buy a kit. The stylus is great, but and they're not terribly expensive, but you can truly just use a pencil, Lisa. So if you don't want to go out and grab one, don't worry about it. You can use a pencil or even a ballpoint pen. Okay, that's our orange. Then this is what we're going to highlight with, or shadow with, and this is heritage brick. And you can see it's literally a brick red color. And then we're going to use, yeah, you can totally do that. For yellowy color, we're going to use camel, which is kind of a Gulden's mustardy color. Can you see that? All right, so we're going to start with those colors, and I'm also just going to squish a little bit of white. Yeah, very inexpensive. A little bit of white on my plate as well. Always like to have some white in the house. All right, so we're going to start. Let me see if I can find my angled brush. Where are ya? Here we go. I'm going to start. This is probably my favorite brush, and it's just a flat with an angle. It's called an angled brush, and I like it, especially for getting in tight little places. It's really a great brush. We're going to use it, and I'm going to do, just like always, we're going to do one section of the pumpkin at a time. I'm just going to start somewhere, and we're going to start with our orange, okay? And I'm going to start just right here. So we're going to put that orange right on to the canvas. Follow your tracer line. Come all the way down to your edge. All right, let's come up, hit that line. Hit that line. So tell me, all my Florida people, how it's going down there. How are you guys doing? I'm praying for minor damage for all you people. All the way to the edge. Been thinking about y'all. I was obsessed last night with watching the TV about it, and I don't even watch TV. Okay, while that is still wet, I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to wipe off that excess. And I'm going to grab some of the heritage brick just on one corner of my brush. And I'm going to come down that left side of that section and just add some red. Might let it dry a little. It's kind of blending in with my orange too much. We may do the orange because they're a very similar color family. Yeah, I'm just going to do my orange sections and then come back. All right, so I'm going to get right up where my vine is, my stem, And we'll follow that tracer line. Follow your tracer line all the way down. If you're like me, your tracer line's a little wiggly. I'm going to get to my edge. We may take our background color to our edge, so I'm going to leave the tiniest bit of white space between my pumpkin so I know where it's separated. All right, let's do this itsy bitsy little space. Ugh. Let's see. I'm getting my hand in the wet, and you know what that means. It's just going to be all over the place. All right. We're just going to keep doing the orange all the way around. Thank goodness, Carol. So we're just going to fill in. This is like coloring in a coloring book. You're literally just filling in the lines. I like to call this a ground coat because it is just grounding the color where there are no details or anything like that. It is just filling in that first bit of color, and then you come back and make it beautiful with your details, right? It's all in the details. All right, let's just keep it going. Keep it going. So y'all, I have to tell y'all, I promised my girls today, they have worked so hard to get all your orders out in a timely manner. And it's just been, I know I've probably drove them nuts. They are so good and they're so consistent. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're not perfect. We do make mistakes, but they have been so good. So I have promised them some great fun after this challenge is over. We're gonna have a dilly-dally day. And I don't know if you guys are new, if you know what dilly-dally day is, but that is a day where everybody comes to work, they clock in, and then we leave and go have fun. We could go to the movies, we could just go shopping, we might go have lunch, but dilly-dally day is so much fun. And we're definitely, the girls are definitely deserving of a dilly-dally day. It's time. It's a dilly-dally time, right? All right, almost there. I'm going to flip this around so I can get to these last little bits without making too much of a mess. Make sure you're covering those tracer lines. And one little itsy bitsy part. Come on, you can do it. There we go. All right, now I'm going to offload some of that orange. Smooth it out a little. Now we can come back and that red will be more prominent. All right, so I'm going to wipe off my brush. They do deserve a dilly-dally day, don't they? They have just worked their little selves to the bone. Cindy, you're working for the wrong boss, aren't you? Joan has been drugged up all day. All right, so I'm going to grab up just a tiny bit of that orange, just to give it a little bit of moisture, not too much. Then I'm going to grab some of that heritage brick, and we're going to add it to the left side of our pumpkin. We're going to be a little messy. We're not trying to do any, we're not trying to be Picasso and make perfect lines. And we're not, we're not trying to be Perfect. Just get a little bit of that darker color on one side, and we can layer and add more if we need. Then I'm going to grab some of this camel, kind of blend it in, and we're going to come on the opposite side and add a little bit of that camel color. Camel again, pounce it off, and blends in. All right, let me wipe that off. I'm going to grab a tiny bit of orange for the middle. Kind of helps soften the balance between the two other colors. And we're going to do that for each section. And then we may come back and add a little more. We're going to play it by ear and see how it goes. I'm going to add a little bit more of that red. I do like the Heritage Brick probably the best. It really gives it some texture. All right, let's wipe that off and do the next section. So we're just going to continue one section at a time. All right, I'm going to get a little bit of orange and just wet this a little bit, especially in the center. All right, wipe it off. Still got a dirty brush. It has not hit the water one time. All right, let's go in. It is spiced pumpkin, I think. No, burnt orange. I can still see them, and I did leave, if you notice, I left a little bit of a line, just a little bit of unpainted area between my pumpkin sections. Just enough to know where they are, but I can still see them very lightly. I'm going to come all the way up with that Heritage Brick, and I'm going to wipe some of that off. Still dirty. We're going to go into that camel, kind of smush it in, blend it into what's already on your brush, and we're going to come on the other side and add more color. This is our highlight color, and the Heritage Brick is our shadow. All right, so blend it in. Voila. Section number 2. Starting to pop, isn't it? Starting to look dimensional. Right? Now, little tiny, that's a little bitty piece. So I'm going to get the tiniest bit of orange and hit the middle. Wipe it off. Grab a little bit of the Heritage Brick. I'm just going on one side of my paintbrush and hitting one side of my pumpkin. Wipe it off. Grab a teeny bit of that camel. Try to blend it in a little so it's not really camel. It's a blend of camel and everything else that's on your brush. And we're going to hit that edge. And then I messed up here, so I'm going to hit that edge again. I'm going to do a little adjusting. Got a little bit of Heritage Brick. I kind of blended too much between these two. So I'm going to take a little bit of that red color and hit right on the edge of that tiny pumpkin bit right there. There, that makes it pop. Gives it dimension. All right? Me too. Me too. All right, I'm going to take a sip, and then we're going to start on the next section. All right, we're going to start with the orange again. I'm just going to hit the middle. Wipe off excess, and we're going in the red. All right, so hit that red. I'm going to kind of make sure goes around the top of that pumpkin. Let's get a little more. I feel like I got a glare. I can barely see. And then I feel like I have to put my head in the camera. So let's get that red, loosey-goosey. I want to get all the way to cover that line. A little more red. Wipe it off, and camel time. It's camel time. That was yesterday. Yesterday's are camel days, hump days. I'm going to take the camel color. I'm just going to go along the right side of that pumpkin section with the camel. So your shadows are on the left with the red, and your highlights are on the right with the camel color. All right, let's do another one. A little bit of orange, hit the middle third of your pumpkin section. Wipe it off. Red, heritage brick. You're gonna come and just hit that one side, the left third with the brick. Wipe it off, and yellow camel on the right side. All right, super easy. So far, so good. What you say? All right, we got a couple more sections. Oh, girl, Angela, you have no idea. You have no idea. Girls, y'all can do this. It is only easy for me because I paint all the time. Painting, it's not a skill that I even feel like I was born with. It's just something that over my lifetime, I've enjoyed so much. Even as a kid, I found that when times were rough and I was having a bad time with whatever was going on in my life, I could sit down and paint or draw, and it just took you to a different place. You're just kind of in your own little world, doing your own little thing, and it just is like therapy. And that's why, is because I did a lot. I painted a lot as a kid. I painted a lot as a young adult. Little camel on this side. All right. We'll grab a little bit more red. I went a little too far with the camel. And we're gonna do our last two little pieces. Look how cute. Let me turn it the right way. Look how cute that looks, and it really starts to pop. That's what makes it dimensional, is adding those shadows and highlights. And they don't even have to be perfect, okay? They don't have to be perfect. They can be messy. Does not have to be perfect. I'm gonna skip to the tiny section because I think it's gonna be the hardest, and it'll be easier to do this one after this. So I'm gonna add a little bit of that orange to the middle. Then I'm gonna grab a tiny bit of that red, and we're gonna go right up next to that stem with the red. Then I'm gonna grab a tiny bit of the camel, and we're gonna go right along the edge of that baby section, that teeny little, I'm trying not to get my hand in wet paint. That teeny little section there. Now we'll do that section. Tiny bit of orange. Go to your red. That's a pretty brick red, isn't it? And last but not least, a little camel. Right on the opposite. Whoa! My plate is now halfway across the room. A little bit of that camel right on the edge. Hang on, y'all. Hang on. I threw my plate across the room. Look, everything ran. Everything slung. That was pretty funny. All right, a little bit of camel here. A little bit of camel here. Oops, I got out of line. You see where I messed up that section right there? I kind of got out of line. I'm just gonna go back and fix it. I'm gonna get a little bit, I'm gonna rinse just a little to get some moisture. I'm gonna get a little bit of that red on my corner, and I'm gonna come in, let me brace myself, and just voila, just like that, fixed it. All right, we're gonna do one last thing before we move to our stem. So my brush is still dirty. See how much paint is still in there? I mean, look, still got lots of paint. So what I'm gonna do is take my white, I'm gonna move this closer to me. I'm gonna take my white, I'm gonna dip the corner of my brush, see how much? And I'm gonna swish. You're gonna go right, left, just like that. Right, left. And where you put your camel, on that camel side, we're gonna do just a few swishes of this white. Hang on. Got not enough moisture in my brush. Hang on a sec. A little white. Swish, swish, swish. The blending helps keep it from being like a big white blob, okay? So let's go around with a little bit of white and around. A little more white, swish, swish. It blends that white with the color that is still on my brush to keep it from being a stark white swish. And I'm gonna add a few more. Very loosey-goosey. I'm gonna wipe that off. I'm gonna get a little bit of moisture on my brush. I didn't really rinse, I just got it wet and then took the moisture off. And I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna get a little bit of that brick again. Swish that, and I'm just gonna come in. Whoops, I still had too much white. And add any brick where I feel like I need a little extra red. The brick is the best color in the piece. All right, I'm digging that. What do you guys think? Love it? I'm gonna rinse. Then I'm gonna do one more little thing because I feel like I lost the middle a little bit. So rinsed my brush. My orange got attacked by white. Do you see that when I slung my plate? But I'm gonna get a little bit of that orange on my brush and come in and just add a few little orange strokes. I'm not doing anything super painterly. I'm just orange on my brush and boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. A little orange on my brush. Try to stay out of the white. And just a little bit of orange. When you layer color like this, when people look at it, it looks like you worked so hard, and it looks like you just have layers and layers and layers of paint, when you really don't. It's just color placement, really. I'm going to add some over the white a little. All right, I think I'm happy with that. What do you think? What you think about that? Let's add our stem, and then we can really decide what we think. For our stem, I'm going to use some of that white, but I also have avocado, making me hungry. And traditional burnt umber for real this time. And we got white. All right, we're gonna start with our green. And for this, I'm gonna use a round brush. And so I can get in my little points. So this is the brush I'm using. It is a kind of a fat round. I don't know what size it is, but I'm gonna say it's probably a 6-ish. Let's see what size this one is. That's a 4, so this is probably a 6. We're gonna start with our avocado, all right? So I'm gonna go in, load your brush, get it all loaded up, lots of color in there. And then I like to twirl it to make it a point again, so it's not like splayed out like that. I like to roll. And then we're gonna go in, I'm gonna grab my block. We're gonna go in, right in where this stem goes into the pumpkin sections. You're gonna very lightly, it's a light touch, just barely touch. And then you can push down on your brush to make it thicker, but you're gonna start with a very light touch because that light touch makes a really thin line, all right? So I'm gonna start here, barely touch, just woo. And as you get towards the center, you can press and make it thicker. Light, light. All right, let's get a little more. Let's roll it in the deep and twirl to make it pointy. And we're gonna go right in here, barely touch. And as you bring it up, you can put pressure on your bristles, push in the downward motion, and then it gets fatter. You see how I did that? Let's fill in the white parts. And press down, and I'm gonna keep going until I kind of run out of paint. I'm gonna do another section. This one little last one, so we're barely touching down where it's really a tight point. Just barely touch and pull. And as it gets fatter, put a little bit of pressure on your bristles, push down into your canvas. And voila. That's what's gonna get you down in those tight little points. All right, now, we can just go up and fill in the coloring book, right? Fill in. So I'm gonna come up here and just kind of meet what I've already done. Make it kind of messy and crinkly and jaggedy. I mean, it is a pumpkin stem, and you've seen those crazy pumpkin stems. So just make it as crazy as you can. All right? I'm gonna flip it so I can do the other side comfortably. I just stuck my finger right in the paint. Only me. So we're gonna come up the other side, wiggle it, make it bumpy. All right. And we're gonna extend this stem after we do our background, but for now, we're gonna do just kind of a little curve. And y'all need to be thinking about what color background. Now, the original orange pumpkin that I did a couple years back, like this, I did on a black background, and it was super awesome. But we'll do whatever color. All right, I'm gonna wipe off my brush. I'm not gonna rinse it, so it's still got green paint. I'm gonna get a little bit of white on my brush. I'm just gonna grind it in, okay? Just smoosh it in so it's not like a big white blob, so it looks more like a light green. And I'm gonna come up one side of my stem. And I'm kind of being random and a little messy because it just looks better that way, right? Just little blobs. I'm gonna add a little bit of green down here. It's dry and I want it to be wet still. A little bit of white. And now I'm gonna wipe that off. Y'all still with me? Y'all so quiet. I'm gonna get some of the brown on my brush that still has the green. And I'm gonna hit the opposite side. Again, I'm not trying to like line it perfectly. I'm just gonna come in and make some strokes. You can add a little bit of brown here and there. Let me turn it my way and see what I think. Oh, that looks pretty good. I'm so quiet. All right, I'm gonna get a little bit more brown. Maybe, I think I'm gonna grab a little bit of this yellow camel, mix it in with my green, and just hit a couple of spots with that. I really want this pumpkin to pop, which is why I did it on black previously. Because let me just tell you, the black and the orange is spectacular. But we'll do a little poll. Gina, I know, I thought, did I go dead? Is everybody gone? Nobody's saying anything. I can't stop, y'all. I can't stop. I'm just trying to make it like rustic-y. All right, so he went to get us some dinner. I don't know about a hay color on the background. Let me show you a little picture of the black background that I did in the past. I'm just gonna stick my laptop under here. So that is what the black looks like. So we can do black, or we can do like a dark blue. We can do a tropical blue. We can do hot pink. We can do whatever color you guys love. Dark navy, metallic gold and khaki, the black. I wish I had black metallic. Y'all want black? I got 3 blacks. Oh, Joan, I understand. Are you having a one finger it? You remember it, Gina? Midnight blue, black with silver, dark navy. Let me see. Let's see. I'm digging the black idea. Let me see how much Prussian blue I have. Do not have enough Prussian blue. Is this Prussian blue? Payne's gray. Let's try this color, and if we don't like it, this is Payne's gray, which is a really dark, 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 dark navy. Let's try that, and if we don't like it, we'll cover it with black. How about that? How about them apples? All right, so Payne's Gray. It's really blue. All right, so we'll try that. And let me see. I'm trying to find a bigger brush. And if we don't like it, we can change it, right? All right, so I'm gonna grab some of this blue, and we're gonna do this section down here. It's gonna take more than one coat, I can tell already. I've been busy. Oh, babe, don't do that. I'm trying to paint, and he's patting me on the back. Okay. This brush is terrible. Hang on. Let me get a different brush, even if it's smaller. My brush is not good. Not good. All right, now let's go right in. Hang on, I need my stabilizer. All right, I'm just gonna keep going. He left the room, G. Oh, he's back. They want you to tell them a story while I'm painting the background. Y'all are asking for trouble. That's a good idea, Betty. Put them in the grandkids' cup. They don't know, do they? They don't even care. I think he's eating. Oh, hold your breath. All right, this is gonna take forever. I'm gonna go as gentle as I can around the pumpkin, and then we're gonna slam and jam. Let's go up. Ooh, I'm having a hot flash now. That's not bad, is it? It's close to black, but not quite. Ooh, hold your breath, hold your breath, hold your breath. Whew. All right, we're just gonna continue, and then I'm gonna do all the edges around the pumpkin, and then we can go faster. All right. Whew. Whoa, almost threw that plate again, y'all. I'm in plate throwing land. That was kind of funny, though. Now, Lord have mercy. Now we can get going. Gotta do those edges too, but I grabbed a sponge brush for the edges because it covers better on big flat spaces. Oh, I got orange in there. That's all right. A little orange never hurt nobody. All right, so real quick, I'm gonna do my edges, and I'm gonna use a sponge brush because it'll make really quick work of that. I'm just gonna flip it on its side and See how much lighter it is when you spread it thin? Definitely needs 2 coats. Let me get some more on my palette as well. All right, I'm just gonna go around the edges. Might not be able to see all of that, but that's all. Oops, I was gonna use my sponge brush, wasn't I? It's just faster. But I'm literally just getting a coat on the edge. Nothing to see here, nothing to see. I do need to be a little more careful next to my pumpkin. This is when a sponge brush is really helpful because a bristle brush will splay. If you run a bristle brush over the edge like this, it will splay and some of the bristles will go to the top. But a sponge brush is really good for cutting real close on that corner without splaying and getting the blue on your pumpkin. All right, up and down, one more side. And voila. Now I'm gonna grab my heat gun real quick and I'm gonna get all this dry. You guys hold on a sec. I'm gonna get it dry so we can keep going. I'm over to the side so I can hold it. Come on, Blue. Hang on. Ouchie. We're going to have to hit it again. Let's get the top dry. Paint flying everywhere. All right. Let's do it again. What do you say? I think I'm going to do my edges again. That'll go really fast. Y'all go grab a Coke or a glass of wine or something. I'm going to do that. I'm going to dry it a little. I'm going to flip it. More blue. It's starting to look pretty. I'm excited. I'm glad we're using this color. All right. Gotta be careful. I don't want to get it on my pumpkin. We'll hit that for 5 seconds. Sherry, you got some red coffee? We're going to hit those ends. Won't take but a split second. There's 1 and 2. I'm going to stick that in there. There's a good job for Mr. McCord. I got a whole pile of dirty stuff. Oh, it definitely needs a second coat because it definitely looks like it's very blotchy. Not that one. That one. Thank you. But this will go really quick, okay? It'll go really quick, so let's watch. super quick. Is it wine Thursday? Super, super quick. We're going to go right up next to our stem. And voila. All right. Love me some red coffee. All right, so I really want to extend my stem out some, so I'm going to grab, even though this is still wet, I'm going to grab my round brush. All right, I'm going to go into that green that's still got a little moisture in it. And I knew I wouldn't be able to brush around like a really dark color. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to I'm going to start like over here. And I am going to stop right there. And I'm going to start here. And I'm going to turn it up. Thank you. And make that stem extend. All right? Oh, thank you. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of that brown on the same brush. And let me get my little thingy over here. I'm just going to line it with a little brown. When it starts to run out and blend in too much, just grab a little more. Line that. A little brown. Now I'm going to wipe that off. Just wipe it on your napkin. Get a tiny bit of white. Blend it into your brush. And do the white. You're just going to take a few strokes every now and again. And just add a little bit of that white. Voila! Look at that. That's a little too white, but that's okay. I'm going to get a little more green and just kind of blend it down. Now we're talking. I'm just kind of doing a little touch up. I don't know what Steve's laughing at, but he's in the bathroom giggling. He's in there giggling about something. Ain't no telling. A little green. All right, y'all, I am digging this. What do you think? What do you think? Is that not wonderful? I love it on the blue. Oh, he probably did. That's probably true. That is probably true. All right, I'm going to move my plate so I don't sling it again. And I am going to dry this up. Happy birthday, whoever's birthday it is. Laura and Teresa. Look how pretty. Excuse me. That looks so nice. That looks so nice. It looks so nice. I'm gonna use a Posca because we got some pretty dark colors here. And this is the 7mm Posca or 0.7 millimeters. Thank you. It's dirty in there. It wasn't terrible though. So I'm going to use this to outline because it's a little thicker. It'll show up better on these dark colors, okay? So I'm going to take my little skinny Posca and I'm just going to make some short strokes. I like short, quick, loosey-goosey strokes. Messy. You could do a dot, dot, dot. All right, see how much that changed the stem already? It kind of is, oh, I should have asked him that. I got distracted. It kind of helps make that stem pop. So let's go around our pumpkin now. I'm just gonna do quick, loose, dot, dot, dot. Voila! Look at that. Is that not awesome? Yoo-hoo! It is time. I'm going to hit this with the dryer real quick just to make sure that black is nice and sealed. Nice and dry. And I don't know. Hey, Stephen Gray? SG? Stephen Gray? He gone. I'm looking for Starfire. I think I used the last little bit in my personal stash yesterday. All right, I'm gonna have to go grab some because he has disappeared off the earth again. That is not Starfire. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna go grab some Starfire. You in here? Found it. Found it. So we're gonna use Starfire and we're gonna add some of the Starfire to our pumpkin, and then we're gonna do a little resin and see if there's anything else we need. All right, can you see the whole thing? As long as you can see the pumpkin, that's really all that matters. Hey, Jenna. Okay, I'm gonna remind you guys while I pour a little glass in my hand that if you're interested in joining our Sunflower Challenge, excuse me, that starts next week, and if you're interested in a kit, comment the word trees, and we will get you a link. Thank you, Catherine. We will get you a link to order a kit, and we will, if you order tonight, we will ship your kit in the morning. Still can't guarantee at this point if it'll get there before Monday. Depends on where you are, but it's always a good idea to watch and then do, especially if it's a new thing. Did I say sunflower? Oh my goodness. Sunflower or Christmas tree challenge, not sunflowers. Lord help me. Comment the word trees and we'll send you a link to register for the Christmas tree challenge. And that is how you can access a kit. I am tired, Kim. I've been tired for a week. I'm just gonna add a little bit of glass to most of the pumpkins. Most of the sections. I just don't want to add it to the whole thing. I want to kind of be a little random. Yay! Go, Marla. All right, I'm going to add a little more to this bottom section. I'm just going to dump it. Maybe a smidge more. Yeah, type the word trees for information about getting a kit, like Catherine just said. We'll send you a DM with a link to check us out. We would love to have you join us, and that is how you get a kit, is to join. You have to be a registered participant to get a kit, and the kit has everything you need except paint, all right? Everything except paint. I got a few more nuggies I'm gonna add, and then we're gonna do resin. And I think I'm gonna make, somebody tell me how much I need. One of you veterans. What do you think? What are you veterans? What would you do? What would you make? How much? That's a lot of glass. But we're going to go with it because it's there already. And Mama tired. No, Bonnie, it's just me being crazy. It's just me being cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. There is a box over there of clear and white seed beads. How much resin? I'm going to say an ounce. Carrie says an ounce. I think you're probably right. I was going to go with 1 ounce. I mean, half an ounce, but I think I put enough glass. I think I'm going to go with Angela, and we're going to do the 1.5. So let's mark our, you don't see, no. It's a bin of white seed beads, probably right there under the pink. Thank you, darling. Just bring me the bin. I'm going to do, where's my ounces? I can't do 3/4. No, I want the bin.
You want the whole bin?
Yeah. Yeah, 3/4 and 3/4 is, that's 1.5. That's too much. I want, hang on, let me pick. I want these. Thank you. No, it's not. Well, I'm trying to decide, y'all. Give me a second. Let me look at my cup. 3/4. 3/4. I'm just gonna have to do. I'm just gonna have to do an ounce and see what happens because I can't figure it out. My brain's too tired. Yeah, probably closer to a half, Catherine, just like you said. But we're gonna go with a full ounce and see what happens because I got a good bit of glass. Yay, Sherry, you go, girl. Marla, you can wipe these out. What you could do is use a paper towel, whatever your paper towel you're using for your art, wipe out the excess. And then you can take an alcohol wipe from my dear friend Gina. These are mixed media alcohol wipes, and that will get what's left of the residue out of your cup, and you can just use it till it's crusty. All right, let me grab some gloves. So real quick, while I'm getting myself ready, I want to ask a question. Oh, gosh. Oh, I hope. And then a colonoscopy. Oh, my favorite thing. What? Just reading comments. Mind your business. You come over here and chat or mind your business. Okay, so tell me what to do, he said. He don't even like it when I act like I'm going to tell him what to do. Gee, that is same. I've done that for years. So we're going to do a 1/2 ounce of hardener. Thank you. Thank you, Catherine, for posting Gina's link. She's also offering a coupon code. Gina, do you want, oh, what in the world, where'd that come from? Do you want to post under where Catherine posted your link. Do you want to post a coupon code, the coupon code, or is that like you have to join the shattered or the Christmas tree challenge to get that code? Is it in the challenge? I can't remember what we talked about. So set me straight. One of you ladies, set me straight. I got a leak in my bottle, in my FIFO. So we're gonna have to check that out later. These, and I just used the mixed media wipes to clean up my little boo-boo. All right, so we have a full ounce of resin, and I am going to mix that. Catherine's gonna time me. Yeah, so if you join the Christmas tree challenge, and also once you get into the Facebook page on the Christmas tree challenge, I think that's where it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gina. She has offered a coupon code for these paint wipes. All right, so we're going to stir, Catherine. I'm working. I'm doing it. Let's stir. Stir, stir. And if anybody has any questions, I am open to answering any questions you have about the challenge, about resin and glass artwork as a whole. Any question that you might have, just pop it in and let's answer some questions while we mix resin. Notice I'm stirring very slowly and gently. I'm not beating it to death. And I'm scraping the sides of my cup and the bottom of my cup. So, and I'm going to do this for 3 minutes so that I can make sure everything is mixed properly. Art resin is a 50-50 mix. You got to have 50% resin and 50% hardener. And not all resins are made the same. This one is the best on the market, in my opinion. Yes, Marla. I think for the link for the Shattered Circle tells you to get on a wait list. All right, but we're going to talk extensively in the Christmas tree challenge. I think maybe on Tuesday, I'll tell you all the things you need to know about the Shattered Circle. Do you get a lot of bubbles when you mix? Haida, if you're getting a lot of bubbles, you probably need to slow down the stir. Or if it's really cold in your house, that could create bubbles as well. You want to gently stir and fold. And make sure you're working in a room that is like 68, 70 degrees minimum, because cold resin bubbles. All right, now I do have bubbles, but we're going to pop those. It's not bubble free, so I don't know. Sometimes my girls think 8 bubbles is like, oh my God, there's so many bubbles. But bubbles are a natural process. Anytime you're mixing and stirring, it's incorporating air into whatever you're stirring and mixing, and it's going to create little bubbles, all right? Unavoidable. So just stir, blend, scrape. Stir, fold, scrape. Catherine says time, so I'm going to just swipe around. One more, scrape on the bottom, one more, and voila. All right, so I'm going to turn my canvas. I'm going to hold off just for a second and take a sip and make sure you can see the entire canvas. Let's bring it down. Down. There we go. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is hit my glass, okay? And you're going to be able to see the whole thing change, because right now it looks like a hot mess, doesn't it? So, excuse me. So I'm going to start over here and work my way up. And before I do that, what is that? I got debris. We'll get that debris off and we'll start. I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. Right, we're going to cover all this glass and it'll start to become translucent. and you'll be able to see how pretty your pumpkin is underneath the glass. All right, so I'm just gonna drizzle. What in the world, SG? Just drizzle. Want to make sure it's all covered. You don't want to come back in the morning and pick it up and all those little sweet nuggets or a portion of those nuggets to fall off. All right, just keep going. Drizzle, drizzle. The drizzling helps saturate every nugget. It starts at the top, it runs its way down the sides, and secures the glass to your canvas. Drizzle, drizzle. See how you can start to see up here, the glass is kind of diminishing your pumpkin. But once you cover it with the resin, all those colors just pop. They show up and they're just gorgeous. We did, Catherine, I think we did a good job with the 1 ounce because we may come really close to using most of it. I think probably 3/4 would have been right, but the cups do not, these particular cups are not conducive to 3/4 of an ounce. There's way too many measuring lines for them. All right, so all our glass is covered. So now I'm just gonna take some resin and I'm gonna just drizzle around the flat. Look at that, Catherine, upside down. Oops. Got a little bit left to use for in a minute, but right now I'm just gonna use my fingers, and I got a little drippage on the side, and I'm gonna use one of Gina's wipes to clean that up in a minute. In a minute. In a minute, I'm Anita. I don't know what that is. So I'm just moving that resin around. Now I'm gonna tell you this right now. My canvas, just noticed, has a dip in the middle. Here is what's gonna happen because it's kind of concave. Not a lot, but enough, okay? Resin is self-leveling, which means if there's a divot or a dent concave in the middle of your canvas, all that resin is gonna go where? It's gonna settle and it's gonna be deeper in the center because it's concave. I should have tightened it, but I didn't even pay attention. And it's gonna try to pull away from the sides and create a thin, like a thinness around the sides. But let me tell you this about a little secret about myself. I don't care. I don't care. Yes, if you, there's a video in the workshop on the challenge page that tells you how to check your canvas and what to do if it has a sink spot in the center. So I want you to go check that, all right? Now, I'm gonna grab, where'd my napkin go? No, throw it away already. I'm gonna clean up my little drips with my napkin, and then I'll use a wipe to get it off the edge because I don't like doing my edges. All right? Yeah, yeah, exactly. So mine is going to be a little thicker in the center because it does have a little concave effect to it. I'm gonna take my heat gun and wiggle, 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 and that's right, Shannon. Anybody who's trying to make art with resin and is a perfectionist and wants their resin to be perfect is in for a rough time, all right? Because it's not ever going to be Look at that. That is spectacular. Before I touch it, I am going to grab a wipe. I'm going to put, the only time I would do seed beads before I resined is if I was using seed beads to like form something, like I used seed beads on a dress before and I glue those down. The seed beads float if you put the seed beads down first. I'm going to use my little wipe from Miss Gina, and I'm going to clean up the side of my canvas because I prefer to not have them resined. And if I want them shiny, I will use Mod Podge gloss to shine up the edges. All right, now let's seed bead. So Steve brought me some size 12. These come from Hobby Lobby. This is the 12/0 glass seed beads crystal luster. So they're iridescent and clear, okay? They're really gonna pop and give the pumpkin like frost, like a frosty look without showing up white. Now I got to, where's my scissors? Gotta open up this seed bead pack because it is taped closed. Don't want to cut myself. I've already cut myself twice today. Once on a drill and once on a box. Not even glass. I did not put Mod Podge on my Christmas tree samples. They're literally I'll show you. They do not have resin on the sides. So you can see how glossy, not glossy. Glossy, not glossy. All right, I'm gonna put these in a little cup. Be very careful. I'm gonna add some frost to our pumpkin. All right, so I'm gonna hit the top. And I'm just tapping my cup. And you can add as many or as few of these as you wish. I'm a heavy frost kind of girl. I'm gonna try to keep it to the top. And watch this little trick. So we have too many. So I like to make a fist around the top of my beads and then I can just pour them right back in. Voila. Tip of the day. All right. So now I'm gonna take my little bit of resin that I have left, hardly any, it took that whole ounce, and I'm gonna drizzle over the top of my seed beads, especially where I have them a little thicker. You don't even have to do this because I promise you these tiny little beads are going to stick to that wet resin even without doing this. I'm only doing it because I have resin. If I was out of resin, I would be just as happy and I would not be worrying about putting resin on top of the beads. They're gonna stick fine without it, all right? So now that I'm out, voila, I'm gonna grab a toothpick because I got some little beads that went rogue and I wanna get them back where they should be. And then I'm gonna show you this beauty close up and personal. So these little boogers, these went rogue. I'm gonna add a few more there, and I think that's it. Everything else looks like it's in line, looking good. I'm done. I am done, y'all. I'm gonna take my little Gina wipe and clean that little resin drip up I had there. And now I'm going to present to you our navy pumpkin. What is this? What can we call this? It is an orange pumpkin. It is on a navy background or a Payne's Gray. So pretty. So pretty. I love it. Love. Let's get close. Can you smell the pumpkin pie?